I just need a TI launchpad.
Can't you see I'm busy here?
Don't be held hostage by the board order. Go to Digi-Key.com to find thousands of boards in stock, all ready for immediate shipment.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Make Live. I'm Tyler Weingartner. Welcome back to the workshop, and today I am joined by Brook Drumm of PrintrBot. Brook, why are you here?
I'm here because you asked me, and
Okay.
I love Make Magazine, and I'm friends with Mike, and I want to see what this is all about, man, so it's cool.
Yes, well, thank you for coming by. And so today we are building, well, if you're not familiar with this show, Make Live is a show where we build projects straight out of the pages of Make Magazine. And today we're building the Raspberry Pi SkyCam. This is a Raspberry Pi powered 3D printed cable cam. In fact, we can take a look at, we have it up and running right now. So you're seeing the view from this. Okay, it is from the Raspberry Pi, so the quality isn't
Come on, it looks awesome.
I mean, it looks amazing. I'm not going to be, replacing any of my video production gear with it just yet.
Yeah. I love this. You can't see it, but it's on this huge, long line right across the Make office.
And
so it's going to bounce. I'm just telling you right now.
And we can control it from my phone right here. I just told it to go back, and then we switch it, and, we see it slowly crawling away from us. And then we can...
There we go. I was like, oh no, is it broke already? It's coming back now. Dude, that is so fun. Who designed this? This is genius.
Who designed this?
Hey, this was a project that...
Didn't you create this?
Yes. I designed this for the book. Some of the guys in my shop actually did some projects, and I wanted to do something totally unique that I'd been thinking about for a while, but I'd never tried. And everybody does the RC cars, and there's tanks and all sorts of things that run around the ground. But I thought, ever since I was a kid, when I went to this toy store at Christmas, they had that. Have you seen this? Like they put the railroad tracks that go around the store, and like you just sit there and watch this train go. It's like elevated up in the sky.
Yeah.
And I was fascinated by that, but it was a lot of money, and so I could never get one. But in my office, when I built this, it was really, really late one night. We were like on a deadline to get it done. I strung this cable all crisscrossed across my office, and I had my own little version of my train in the sky. But this one's better. It has a little camera, so put a couple servos on this. I like this because even though you may think, why would I need a SkyCam? Well, if you have employees, you might want to put this where they work. In fact, we could probably do that with this office. But
we could. We could even...
I'm joking, of course, though.
How do we... Because we have control of the different servos.
This moves really fast, so,
Yeah, it's a little jerky, but, we could... Well, here we can just look at the camera in our broadcasting setup.
That is cool. I always dreamed about actually using this in my shop. We got this big warehouse at PrintrBot, and I wish I could figure out how to control this from the internet, because it would be cool just to let people just take control of it and look around the shop however they want to.
Yeah, well, right now, I'm controlling this from, it's just a web browser that's, living on the web server on the Raspberry Pi itself. So as long as you're comfortable taking this IP and putting it out to the public, then sure, I don't see why you couldn't.
That would be awesome. I asked my programmer about it, and he says, yeah, people do it. There is a little bit like getting out into the internet, some security issues, so I don't know. He was a little worried about it, but anyway, what I like about it though is you can, if you play around with it on the cable, you can take these exact components and make a little tank, make a little car, use those servos to drive the wheels of something on the ground too. So it's just kind of all around Raspberry Pi project.
Yeah, of course. Now, before we do much else, I want to take a moment to thank the sponsor, the people who make this series possible, and that's Digi-Key. Digi-Key Electronics is an American electronics distributor. They any of the components that you need to make this build, from the Raspberry Pi, the switches, the motors, the servos, all the wiring, the perf board, all the stuff that you need, they sell it. And if you go and look and if you look at the description of this video, you can check out the shopping cart where you can make the purchases. Everything is already set up for you to click send this to me.
That's awesome.
It's getting a little bit late in the day for them, but but they might still get it in a shipping box and ready to ship out to you the next morning. I've ordered stuff at like 2 or 3 in the afternoon here in California, and it was on my desk the next day. They ship incredibly fast.
We order so much stuff from them. We get parts for our printer boards and everything through there.
Yeah, so they're a wonderful partner to make this series happen, and we're super grateful that they are able to let us do this. So without any more about that, let's get into this build. And of course, while we're here, while we're doing this, if you have any questions for me about this build, if you have any questions for Brook and the kind of things that he does, put those in the comments, and we will address them as they come up.
Cool.
So
I want questions.
Brook wants questions.
I do.
So make him regret saying that.
Yeah, embarrass me. It won't take long, actually.
All right. Now I just need to get this page up so I can look up the questions. Mike has got something for us.
Yeah.
First question. Is that a Raspberry Pi 3?
We are actually running this on the Raspberry Pi 2. And you originally wrote this project for the Raspberry Pi 1, didn't you?
Well, it's funny because Coder is actually this project that I believe it started at Google. And I was a web designer before I got into 3D printing and started my business. And I learned the hard way that writing web pages takes a server and like all this complicated 3D printing, and when you make a change, you have to re-upload it to the server. Coder, I learned the hard way that writing web pages, little package that lives on your server, and like all this complicated 3D printing. When you make a change, you have to re-upload it to the server. I learned the hard way that writing web pages, little package that lives on your server, and like all this complicated 3D printing. When you make a change, you have to re-upload it to the server. I learned the hard way that writing web pages, little package that lives on your server, and like all this complicated 3D printing. When you make a change, you have to re-upload it to the server. I learned the hard way that writing web pages, little package that lives on the server, and like all this complicated 3D printing. So you make a change, you have to re-upload it. And I learned the hard way that writing web pages, little package that lives on the server, and like all this complicated 3D printing. So you make a change, you have to re-upload it. And I learned the hard way that writing web pages, little package that lives on the server, and like all this complicated 3D printing. So you make a change, you have to re-upload it. And I learned the hard way that writing web pages, little package that lives on the server, and like all this complicated 3D printing. So you make a change, you have to re-upload it. And I learned the hard way that writing web pages, little package that lives on the server, and like all this complicated 3D printing. So you make a change, you have to re-upload it. And I learned the hard way that writing web pages, little package that lives on the server, and like all this complicated 3D printing. So you make a change, you have to re-upload it. And I learned the hard way that writing web pages, little package that lives on the server, and like all this complicated 3D printing. So you make a change, you have to re-upload it. And I learned the hard. You know, you just kind of drag to draw a circle, and then you lift up to make it a 3D part. So it's just really straightforward. I tend to do things in a way that I can have my son just follow along and be able to do it. So he watched me design this, and for him, SketchUp was easy, so we did it in SketchUp.
Yeah, that's what I was hearing. Getting a little bit of notice that we got some audio feedback, and I hope that we've taken care of it. But it's looking like it is okay. It's looking like it's better. It just needs a little bit of time to catch up.
We crossed the streams again.
We did. This is our first time streaming to 2 different places. We're streaming to both Facebook and YouTube. So bear with us while we have.
They should open them both up on their computers, and then we could have two audio streams, and they won't even know if we have an echo.
So this is the top of the SkyCam.
Yeah.
This will be great because you've seen the output from the SkyCam, but you haven't seen it get built, so you won't see that until we actually finish building it. So this is the top plate, this is the top surface, and this is where we're attaching the 2 arms that the 2 top servo wheels live on. So we're mounting the servos, we're mounting the bearings in there that we will then attach.
Yeah, this is a little bit like a software project masquerading as a hardware. Maybe it's vice versa. There's equal parts of both, but the easy part, I've always said, some people say hardware is hard. I find hardware easy, because look, all I had to do was push that thing into that hole there. And software is the one that's hard. So I say software is hard, hardware is easy. But this is the easy part, so that's the stuff we're going to be seeing today.
Yeah.
If you had to follow me, now Tyler, you were a gem when testing this out ahead of time and helping me with the software part, but that stuff is hard. There's a lot of instructions you have to follow. You'll see that in a minute.
Yeah, we'll get into that stuff later on.
But this is the easy stuff. It's kind of fun to see it come together real quick.
Yeah. Well, and you know, the other thing we're not going to take time to do today is the soldering of the various components. There's a voltage regulator that I've already soldered up that controls the power from the battery pack down to the 5 volts for the Raspberry Pi.
I thought about getting a voltage regulator right off the shelf, and those are available.
Oh yeah.
So if you don't want to put that together, but I thought it was kind of fascinating how simple it is, and I thought I'd throw that in.
Now, my knowledge of electronics is passable on the best of days. I obviously understand how there's the we'll take a look at that component later on, but there's the voltage regulator, the 3-pin component. I'm just getting my screwdriver ready here.
Yeah. This is a. Go ahead.
But then there's the capacitor, and I don't have an internalized knowledge enough like what the capacitor is there for.
Well, that makes two of us.
Okay. Is that just you know the way the
Well, my electrical engineer is the one that just put that together, and he made it as simple as possible. That's like the most minimal voltage regulator you can do. You'll see it here in a second. I wanted to tell you about this.
Can you hand me two of those M2.5 screws?
2.5. There's threw one at you.
Okay.
Now this is the one mistake I did the first time I put this together. Even though I designed it, I did it wrong. This is going to pivot. Is this okay for the camera right there?
Well, I mean, you can see right there.
Is that just lagging? Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
if you're looking over those, you're going to see the one that.
Watch this one.
Yeah, watch that one. That's the real-time one.
So when I put this together the first time, I had rotated this, and I had it all screwed together. I was focusing on getting it all screwed together, and I realized that I put the what do they call it? The horn or whatever it is, the part that rotates.
Yeah.
Not on axis with the pivot point. So this is going to be the pivot point on top of this bearing, and you want to make sure that the horn is right above where you're going to screw that in, so they line up that way. So then they can thread in there. Now, how's that threading in to that little?
I mean,
I broke one when I did mine.
I hope we don't break this one because I don't think I have any spares.
Well, I always say this when I do 3D printed projects. It's funny because you can do so much with a 3D printer, but when it gets down to, you got 10 people, they probably have 10 different printers from 10 different companies, and they're running 5 different software packages, and some of them, like half of them may have had it calibrated for, really good, accurate geometry. So when you print this project out, or really any project, don't be surprised when you do have to get the drill out. I walked in today and Tyler was drilling out a part, and I was like, yep, that's exactly what I expected to see.
Although nowadays for my projects at home, I just bought a big bag of one of those, there's those heat set inserts.
Oh yeah, those are great.
So if you're not familiar with these, they're these
brass inserts.
There's these brass inserts, and they have a little bit of like gearing or just basically friction material on the outside. And you just take a soldering iron and you use that to heat the thing up, and then just press it into a hole in your 3D printed object, and now you have brass threads that will receive your screw or your bolt or whatever you want to do to attach stuff together.
That is so nice because on these, when I first built this, I go out into my shop and or like you go out into your garage, and I have this mason jar in my garage that gets all the extra IKEA parts and all this crazy hardware and stuff. So some of my projects end up looking like this totally random. It was like I did not go shopping. I just started. I looked in the cushions for parts, and I ended up putting all that together. But this time, when I was re-putting it back together, I was taking it apart, putting it back together, and getting ready for the day. And I have better hardware now. So some screws that I like a lot better than these just basic M3 that work really well if you're tapping out aluminum. On plastic, they're okay, but there's something called a Plastite screw. Have you used those?
No, I've never even heard of them.
I didn't know about them until I started doing manufacturing with this place in Sacramento that does our metal folding and powder coating. And my machinist was actually the one that told me about it. He says, when you do injection molding, use plastite screws. I didn't even know what they were. They look like a wood screw, like a deck screw, really thick, like threads. These are very fine threads on these M3 and M2.5. But these are very thick, and it's almost like you're using a wood screw, but it's perfect. And when it goes into a hole, it's very forgiving, and it won't split out. Like this little guy might split out the plastic if it goes into a hole that's too small, and then when you tighten it up, you could damage it. But the plastite cuts. It cuts the threads into it. So I put it together the second time with even better screws.
Yeah, I noticed that the first time I was building, when I was doing the test build, the one that we have up above us right now, this hole that receives the M4 screw, it split this part off.
Oh, yeah.
So then I just took an M4 tap and I tapped it out first. So.
Oh, wow. I think I saw that setting over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep those around now. I use those constantly. There is always, for a tap, there is a diameter of drill bit that, like the M4, calls out a specific size drill bit to pre-drill. So, like, we do a lot of water jetting, and when you go into metal, sometimes with a water jet, because it has to bust through the hole, you get a curve, kind of like you would on a laser cutter. So anyway, your screw holes end up being not perfect. So sometimes we have to pre-drill, and I have drilled with the wrong size, thinking, oh, the tap will just take care of it. Now, in plastic, it's very forgiving. But in metal, I have broken so many taps trying to tap the wrong size screw, or the wrong size thread. The hole was the wrong size before I tried to tap it.
Our hand drilling is giving somebody anxiety. Pantone Diago. Sorry, but,
Drilling?
We could do this with power tools a bit. I mean, these are 3D printed parts. They're not the strongest in the world.
He's
so,
stressing out watching you. It will grab.
Yeah.
Sometimes what I do on those plastic parts like this, I'll take a power driver and use it to knock out, tighten all the way down, and then dig out the extra plastic so it spins in there.
Yeah.
Then I'll press it up. It's essentially what you're doing.
Although this is not quite grabbing into the servo side there.
You may have to back it out.
Yeah.
Did you buy extra?
Extra servos?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, no. The first time I put this together, I thought I'd be clever. I was watching all these YouTube videos on how to convert these little guys from regular servos, which have, how many degrees?
Usually it's like 180 degrees.
Yeah, it's I think a little bit less, is it? But anyway, it would only sweep, so many degrees from one way to the other. There is a way to take these little guys apart. I do not recommend it.
Yeah.
You take them apart and you take out the little stops so it will be continuous and just keep going and going and going, so you can use them as the drive for your wheels. I'm not joking when I say I ruined 4 of these in a row trying to make it a continuous drive servo, and then I just bought a continuous drive servo for like the same money.
Yeah, I mean,
I
guess it's good to know how to make that conversion, but yeah.
I did actually. I submitted it to the book, and
people make these parts, and they're relatively cheap. So
it is very cheap. And when I buy these now, I buy like 5 or 10 at a time, because these are only, I don't know how much these are, but they are cheap. It always amazes me how do they get a profit out of putting all these little parts together? You got a little motor in there and a whole drivetrain to gear down that little DC motor that's just spinning really fast, so that you only get 180 degrees of motion on this. Pretty crazy.
Or maybe even a little less than that.
Yeah, I don't remember how many degrees. When we get into the software stuff, I think you showed it on the phone, the controls.
Yeah.
One of the things that's confusing about these servos to me is when you go from the extreme of one side of the, like, 0 angle all the way over to the max, you have to use in the code, what is it, 256 or 255?
Yeah, something like that to get the.
Why is that so random? I don't get that.
I mean, that's just coming back to, everything is based around bits in a computer, and so you have 8 bits.
You know the answer to this.
I do know the answer to this.
This is awesome.
Yeah, so that's...
So it's just operating within the limits of what the
yeah,
code
it's
does.
well, like a character is 8 bits, and that represents a number from 1 to 250. Well, 0 to 255.
It's like RAM used to be, like 4, 8,
Exactly.
16, 32, 64, 128. Don't make me go further.
Yeah, it's all based around powers of 2.
So yeah, that translates into like 0 to 100% or whatever.
Yeah.
But the continuous, it just gives it a direction and says go, and it just keeps spinning until you say stop.
Yeah, I've never, other than this project, which I mean, I can't claim I'm doing any programming for, just implementing it. But this is the first time I've ever worked with continuous rotation.
We read up on it
service.
when we were dialing in the software. I had my electrical engineer and it's funny because the CEO, the electrical engineer, and the programmer, all like the top dogs in their department, right? We're all in there trying to make a $2.50 servo go forward and reverse.
Yeah.
But he did, I remember him explaining that to me, and there was actually some nuance with the continuous motion. There's some trick to get it to go, because it wasn't predictable. It wasn't like, just go to 255 and that's, as fast as you can in one direction.
Someone on YouTube was asking where we're streaming from, and we're here in San Francisco. So we're here at Pacific time. It's 4:30 in the afternoon. So I think they were mentioning you're here in England, or watching from England.
What time is it there?
They were saying it's a little bit past midnight, so thanks for sticking with us.
Yeah.
We're on one hand, I am trying to make this build go as quickly as possible, but I also know that when you rush, that's when you make mistakes, and that's.
Oh, you're doing good, man.
Got some of my coffee hands.
Dude, that's the last thing I did. I had coffee this morning, and then I did one stop on the way down here. I'm up in Sacramento. And then the first stop I do is coffee and gas. Now, these are continuous, right?
Those are the continuous ones.
Do you have another screwdriver that I can play around with? Can I grab? I'm just gonna. I'm curious. One way that I ruined these was I took a little wrench when I first got one. I was like, oh, it's stuck. And these are plastic gears, right?
Yeah.
And I started
Oh, you just
cranking on it.
You unstuck it.
They are fragile.
All right, so the next thing we need to do on this piece of hardware is we need to get these bits mounted to this top plate here. So you can get some screws and some bolts. I'm going to try and get this name right. Jorg Walasek on YouTube asking about my screwdriver. This is from a company that's based here in California called iFixit.
Dude, I love iFixit.
And this is their basic screwdriver kit. It comes with a ton of different bits for taking just about anything apart. Big thing about iFixit is they want you to be able to, they sold the kits for like being able to fix your iPhone or replace your iPhone screen. So they have all the screws that
That's
help
how
you
I found out about them.
get into devices that are full of screws that try to prevent people from getting into their devices. They're a really lovely company.
I think
we
you're
love them
upside
a lot.
down. Are you upside down?
No, this is the top.
Is it?
I think this is the top, because you don't want these protruding out the top, do you?
No,
And
that's right.
There's the mounting holes for the Raspberry
Wait a
Pi
minute.
too.
You know, I'm curious. Is that? I am taking the live stream down. See, check it out. Is that going to protrude through the top? You got enough room there with your washer?
No, just keep stacking washers until you're
Oh
good.
yeah, there you go. That'll work. That is one thing. The first time I designed something, I don't think about putting it together. I'm just drawing.
Yeah.
There's such a difference between, your first rev and your second rev when you design something for the first time. Because even in 3D space, you don't get a sense of scale. You don't get a sense of like how it's going to be put together. So I always tell everybody that is designing something and they're tweaking and tweaking and tweaking and tweaking and tweaking. and waiting for that moment where they can say, it's perfect, now let's build it. I say, dude, build it like quickly, build it maybe even first, hack something together to make sure it works. But after you get your design done, you have to print it out, build it, and see how it goes together, because you can always improve it.
I'm always a big fan of the doing what you can to before you spend your 8 hours printing your big elaborate design part.
Totally.
Print a few test probes that are going to print the way that the machine will print it in your final print, just to see, hey, will this fit? Is this going to fit? Because
one that I totally recommend people do it when you're doing, and to be honest, I did not do it here. That's why we had to go through and drill stuff. Is I didn't do a little test block for a screw hole size.
Yeah.
And what you can do is just draw a little box that prints in like 3 minutes, 5 minutes. It can be very flat, because your printer may be set up differently than another one. You draw various sizes of holes, and sometimes I'll even number it, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and actually print the numbers out, or make it a shape where you know where the left and right is, or what top and bottom.
And eventually
then you can test it.
Eventually you'll start to get a good sense of...
For your printer.
Yeah, for your printer,
right.
what sort of tolerances you need to be able to get everything to fit. I mean, everybody's tired of making fidget spinners now, but if I still needed to make one, and people are probably going to clown me for even bringing them up now, I know that if I'm going to make one, I need to, so that skate bearing is 22 millimeters, but I need to print it like 22.3 or 0.4, and then I get a nice friction fit that's going to hold it right in place. But
yeah, that might be slightly different for somebody else.
Yeah.
But you're right. You got to first do dimensional accuracy with like a test cube, 20 by 20 or 40 by 40. Measure it, adjust. But
all right, so this top plate is almost done. The last thing we need to do is attach the two switches for our two power modules, and from there, this will start coming together pretty quickly, I think. He says.
Is this the other one?
Yeah. So we mentioned the voltage regulator earlier, and that's what this guy is. And there's only there's this header block here with these 3 different pins. And there's this, which is going to plug into our battery case. This is what's going to power the Raspberry Pi. So this is a 6 battery block of AA's, and we plug it into that, and then we've got this power switch here. And then we have, do you remember the model number for this voltage regulator?
Oh, I have no idea.
Okay, well, it's a voltage regulator. It's got the capacitor on there. And then that turns whatever is coming in through here into nice clean 5 volts. That will plug this into the Raspberry Pi.
So yeah, it's basically like a switch, but it also smooths out the current.
Yes.
The Raspberry Pi it used to be worse than it is now, but it used to be very, very finicky on how much voltage you give it. So I did some projects with it, and I think even this, I showed it to my electrical engineer, and he was like, you can't do that. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I can do that. I was giving it not enough voltage. It was a little low. And I was like, what are you talking about? It's working. He goes, dude, don't do that. That will ruin things. And I said, why? It's working. He goes, you just keep using that, and you will ruin your Raspberry Pi.
You're like, what? It's only $5, or it's only $25.
It's like $35 for a 3, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, and I pay attention to his advice, because voltage regulators are actually pretty cheap, and it will just make your life easier. Instead of building all of this and then frying your board, yeah, it'll work for a little while without a voltage regulator, but then when you get low in battery power or you have too much battery power, anyway.
Going to be a little bit fiddly here while I get these.
Yeah, there's one switch that handles the power for the Pi, and the other set of batteries actually give current to the motor, the servos. I say motors. There's a motor and a servo. So that's why 2 switches. I found out that the servos, they actually drain the power pretty quick when you leave them on overnight.
I haven't, this one that I finished building and got it running yesterday, I haven't tried running it too continuously. I have the wrong bit in there.
Yeah, this project was funny because I was so excited about it until I added my batteries, because I had these AA like you do. And I was like, man, it's starting to feel kind of heavy. And then I remembered this is going to be suspended on a single string. So I had this, I don't know if you knew, but I made this printer back a few years ago, the Simple Makers Kit. And it literally used, was it Teflon? Fishing line, Kevlar fishing line for the belts.
Okay.
To save money on belts, which turns out does work for a while. Actually, I saw somebody at Maker Faire that said, hey, I'm still using the fishing line for belts, works fine. I'm like, man, you're more patient than me. We dumped that and went to belts later and just said, okay, another $3, it's fine. But that stuff is so strong, it literally has enough they've tested it for over 200 pounds. And I did it out in my shop. I put a little loop in it and I stood in that string. It can hold up my body weight. But when you tension it across the room and you put, 6, 8, how many batteries we're going to have in here?
10 AA batteries.
AA batteries, it gets heavy at the middle of the string, right? Then it's got to climb uphill. So anyway, I doubled it up on that, and it got a little bit more level. But yeah, it's a SkyCam. So when I wrote the chapter for the book, I changed to paracord because that's even stronger. But it does stretch a little bit.
Yeah, and everybody loves making stuff out of paracord.
I love paracord. I still can't imagine jumping out of an airplane with just that holding me to that parachute, man. But anyway, so I've even used, I grew up in Kansas, and we didn't have a dryer. Well, at least my mom, she had a dryer, but she tended to dry stuff out on the clothesline. And I love the idea of a zip line across my yard. Turns out the clothesline doesn't hold a 12-year-old boy's weight. But that stuff you can get some at Lowe's, and it has that rubber coating. Mm-hmm. And with these wheels, if you put a thick rubber band on it, that stuff is so strong, you can tension it really tight, and it'll go very, very flat, even with the weight of the 10 batteries and all the Raspberry Pi and everything.
The one I tried in that same zipline scenario growing up is I did, I think it was nylon rope, but like
that stretches a lot though, doesn't it?
Not like the nice, kind of silky finish stuff, but the really nasty yellow, like
yeah.
This is just
like hand burns.
Oh yeah, and
it's like boating stuff, isn't it? I remember tying up a little bass boat with that stuff.
Hey, when you're a kid, you use what you can find, not like the really well recommended stuff. And of course, the first thing I tried to do was did the Ninja Turtles. Well, I've got my staff that I'm just gonna
Ninja Turtles.
throw over the top of it, and then of course the first thing I did was slide
Which
down
Ninja Turtle were you? You probably can name them all, can't you?
That was Donatello, I think.
Leonardo, Michelangelo. What's the other one?
Is that Raphael?
Raphael. Aren't these all Italian artists?
Yeah.
Or makers, a couple of them. That's hilarious. So what did you do? You put it like the staff over the line or something?
And yeah, I just figured I'd hold on to both sides, and
No.
that was just rope burn horror.
I love it.
Don't do that.
This is a little bit of, it seems like, well, my dad always wanted to be a pilot. And the idea of flying, or the idea as a kid with a zip line in your backyard. I had a friend with a zip line. That is the best, man.
All right, so
Did you get it?
that's one switch in. Apologies, this is the really fiddly part.
You want me to do one?
Yeah, I've got the. Well, if you do one, then what am I going to be doing? I suppose I could maybe start getting the software running on the Pi.
Yeah, let me do one.
Okay, so you can go ahead and tackle that. I'm going to knock the camera around a little bit. Come back to our camera here, and then we should probably actually trade places.
Yeah, let me get out of the way.
So we got our Raspberry Pi right here, and I've got to give it some power.
Copy your work.
No, here's the power for the Raspberry Pi right here.
Did you put M3s on there? Yeah.
Yeah, M3s and the M3 nuts.
Dude, they all start to look the same. I have so many different little hardware bits. I find screws and nuts and washers in my pockets like every day of my life. in my washing machine. Okay.
All right, and the first thing I need to do, now that this thing is getting powered up, is figure out where this thing is on our network.
What do you use?
I use this network tool called Fing, F-I-N-G, and it just scans your network and tells
Is it
you...
on the phone?
Yeah, it's on your phone.
Oh, that's wild. I use Mac LandScan. Mm-hmm. I bought the Pro because I don't know what it was that it added, but it is really easy.
Yeah.
It sounds like geeky, but it's not that geeky.
I mean, to me, this is a really invaluable tool working with Raspberry Pis because it just means that you can
Yeah, you got to be able to find it, and it'll tell you, kind of like when you hook up to Wi-Fi at Starbucks or whatever. You first have to find the SSID or the ID of what you're connecting to. And am I right that does the Pi first? I refresh my memory on how Coder works. First, you hook it to an Ethernet, which means like hardwire to your router or whatever. So once you get it hooked into Ethernet and you have a Wi-Fi plugged in, you can say, okay, now let's switch to Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And then you choose the network you're going to connect to.
You don't even need to tell it to switch to Wi-Fi.
It just does it?
Once you activate it, once you get the Wi-Fi running on it, then you can access it via either IP address.
Oh, okay.
At least that's the plan.
We have a printer, the Simple Pro, that you have to connect to Wi-Fi. It's funny how, sometimes we take it for granted. I'm fairly IT-minded, but IT is a black art. That is for sure. And Wi-Fi can be as well. It frustrates some people. So when you start talking IP address and all that, it sounds hard. It's not that bad. Just hang in there and learn. Does it actually run? What was I working on just the other day? Oh, it was Octoprint, this 3D print control software that's on the Pi 2. And it actually can set up its own, or at least the Pi can set up its own little Wi-Fi hotspot, and you connect right to it.
Yeah.
I'm almost done. You're right, this is fiddly. The reason is you're so close with that switch, you
Yeah.
got to put the nut in way down at the bottom and then screw the screw up. The flat side against the switch.
Of course, now I've already realized the first thing that I have forgotten to do, because one of the first things we need to do is activate the camera on this thing. So I'm going to power it down and
Reboot.
attach the camera. We also need our super long Pi camera cable.
Yeah, I wish the ones they came with was just a little longer.
Yeah, this one is...
That one's like too long. That is awesome. Yeah, just hang it off the bottom, just drag it behind you. It's funny when you go to buy cables, and it's like 6 inches, $8, 12 feet, $8.50. It's never the exact right size.
The right answer, if it makes sense for the kind of cables you need, is make your own.
Oh, come on.
Well, I mean,
You're going to make this? How are you going to make this?
Again, I'm not going to make that cable.
You can't. Well, it makes me think we cut our own ribbon cable.
Yeah, but like the microphone.
Dude, look at that knife.
This is the craziest scraper in the world.
Let me see that.
I don't recommend this.
Don't do this at home.
No.
That is awesome. What
But
a clever idea.
But if you need a good scraper, and if you want a scraper that you don't mind,
Dude, it's like
razor blade is your scraper tool of choice.
like a mini
like
Klingon
you need to
battle axe.
scrape stuff off of glass. It'll work
That's
really
cool.
well for that. I'm going to put that away.
One of my first jobs, I'd just been married, and I moved back to my college town to finish up my degree. And I was a midnight stockman at Food for Less in Joplin, Missouri. You talk about a difficult place to work. It was humbling. All I did was take cans out of boxes and stock on the shelf. But there's this little guy, he's a funny dude. I ended up really liking this guy, but he's super weird right off the bat. And he was so fast with a blade. It was crazy. He could cut the top off a box with a box cutter. It scared the crap out of me. I immediately cut myself.
Oh boy.
I get nervous around my shop when somebody pulls out a knife because my first hire was a 14-year-old kid, Caleb, and I said, now be very careful. This is glass. It will break and you will cut yourself. He's like, oh, yeah. Dude, 5 minutes later, breaks, cuts himself. He's crying. Sorry, Caleb. But it was traumatic. Safety first. My neighbor has a safety third shirt.
Yeah.
Don't listen to him.
Safety
first.
I would
We
say-
should be wearing goggles right now. No, we're not
Should
doing
we?
anything dangerous yet.
I would say safety someday.
You got to. In my shop, when you're,
I'm being
safety first.
I'm being aspirational here. It's not quite ready to connect. Come
I love
on.
it. Do you call your computer confuser?
Yes, I do.
We talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
It rung a bell, some YouTube guy, right?
Yeah, if you're, warning in advance that he is, his content is not the most safe for work thing
It's
that you'll ever
colorful.
hear. It's very, very colorful. AVE, Arduino versus Evil, he does amazing. He's engineer of all sorts of mechanical, electrical.
He's a little salty. But
very-
he's genius, though, man.
Oh yeah, no, amazing engineer, and check out his tool reviews. Check out his tool review of the Juicero juicer. That's my.
Yeah, that's my to-do list when I get back. I do love how calling a computer a confuser, it just seems so appropriate.
Yeah, that's
Okay, so
that's
these,
the way we live and work.
I did get these on.
Okay.
What do you want me to do? I'll just keep talking if you like, but
Well, from there, I
What do we got?
spent all that time just trying to get the Raspberry Pi ready. And
it looks
now,
like it's ready. We can trade back if you want.
we can jump in here and do our.
So you've got the prompt for Coder.
Yeah,
That's a good. Oh, here we go.
important thing we need to do here is enable. No,
You said
no.
Rastrack, yeah. Go back.
Whoops. I have no idea what I'm doing.
You went down one too many.
Well, yeah, no,
What is Rastrack?
I have no idea. If you know
Let's
what
try that again. 5. Enable camera.
This is on a little bit of a delay.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah. There you go.
Yes, that's what I'd like to do. And I can't remember. Let's make sure we expand the file system too. 'Cause this is a weird build of, normally I'm using Raspbian
that's
for
a little-
Raspberry Pi, so
It's easier. Well, that was the thing with Coder. It's funny because that had been out for years, and I was like, this is going to be awesome. One of the first thing it has you do is, just edit a web page. And the cool thing, I started to tell this earlier, but the cool thing about Coder was you can do your edits live and then see it like a kid could do his edits live and see it immediately without having to know how to upload a file.
Yeah.
Eventually, they did add one project that kind of opened my eyes about what was possible with Coder. They got it to turn on an LED. I know, very simple. If you're an Arduino guy, that's like your first project, make
Right.
an LED blink. But that's like communication with the real world, turning software into something happening in the real world, hardware.
Yeah.
And so I actually had to wire up a little resistor to the LED, and they finally put a project on Coder to get something out of the Raspberry Pi to happen in the physical world, and that gave me the idea for the project. So we had to install, I forget what it is. There's several little packages. One is to stream the camera. One is to get the I/O, the input-output,
Yeah.
working.
Actually, I was going to say, if you wanted to start doing some of the other things, like
Sure.
here's our signal control board, and we also are going to need some electrical tape on there. I need to pull up the
Okay.
commands that we need to install onto the Raspberry Pi so we can get this thing running.
You did a nice job with this.
Oh, thank you.
That was really nice.
Yeah, I just well, if we could, let's take a look at the detail camera there.
Oh, this one? So this...
I don't usually like to consider myself too clever, but I was a
Look
little
at
bit
this.
proud of this.
This is fantastic.
So we need to bridge all of these because this is our power. I'm probably going to get this wrong.
Yeah,
I
one's
need to look it up.
ground.
One's ground, one's power.
So the ground goes all the way across. And it's kind of like a
And
version. Do you have one of those little?
I can make it's like a breadboard.
Yeah, it's sort of like a mini breadboard, but it's like a DIY.
And I just ended up bridging all those by just taking a piece of stranded wire, taking one of the filaments out of there,
Oh, I see what you
trimming it
did.
off, and then just using that to bridge all the way across.
So the solder easily wicks across.
Yeah, it wicks across,
I love
because
it.
otherwise I'd be creating these big, massive solder blobs to get them to bridge across those.
That is great. Man,
that's-
Carl, the guy that does my hot ends, he was here in the Bay in the 70s when computers were just starting to be made.
Yeah.
And he talks about this room at HP, because he literally started building calculators. And they were $2,000
Yeah.
for a calculator. And then it moved on to computers. And there was this room where they had, it was actually a lot of women, anybody with small hands that could do very fine work, and they would thread little, just wire, this little copper wire, around and around a round magnet, and that was the memory. That was like one thing of memory that could go, you could change the state of it. And they had to do it thousands and thousands and thousands of times. I'd almost need, my eyes are old enough and bad enough, I'd probably need a microscope to do what you did here.
I was starting to feel like maybe I could use, I'd solder everything in those helping hands tools that,
Yeah.
and I normally, the
Sheesh.
first thing I do is just rip the magnifying glass off of it just to get it out of my way. And this is the first time I started feeling like maybe I was starting to wish I have that back.
Yeah, I have, I reluctantly bought the bifocals where you can look up really close, has magnifying glasses
Right.
on the eyes.
Yeah.
I don't wear them a lot. Okay, so this little board ends up being just like this little patch bay that connects ground to everything, and you end up, it's real nice because this perf board is the right, and these header pins are the correct spacing so that we can begin to plug everything into this, and so it kind of routes the signal, because you're going to join you want the two wheels, because it's hanging off of these two wheels, and you want them to move at the same time, so they're kind of connected together through this little hub, like a Y connector for your headphones or something like that.
Yeah, and while you're explaining this stuff, I've been, so I just installed this package. Do you know what the Pi Blaster package does?
Yeah, that is, the Pi Blaster is what connects, it's the serial, it gets the serial in and out, right?
Okay, that's what connects the software to the
Yeah.
hardware.
There's a couple of packages. I think there's a more popular one now, so this is a little bit dated. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what I say.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about this is that it then after I download it and I unzip it, it creates this folder called Pi Blaster Master.
The Blaster Master. I forget what he was using that for, but it's an interesting story about the guy that developed this. Because it's funny how Raspberry Pi, they did a great thing by bringing this little tiny computer that just amazes people how much you can do with it. And it's very inexpensive. I used to I started building computers when it was 486 computers. And it was expensive for me at the time, but you had to make all these choices. If you just get a Pi, you've got like a music server, a video server, a little robot controller. It can do so many things, but you do have to get these pins communicating with whatever sensors that you're hooking up with it. So originally they dropped this and there was nothing to do that.
Right.
So there's a couple different solutions. Pi wiring, I think, is one of them.
Okay. Yeah, getting into the GPIO stuff on the Raspberry Pi is not something that I've done. I mean, I've implemented a couple of times using other people's projects, but I haven't developed any of my own just yet.
Man, these projects for me are so random that when I get really into them, and I could have talked to you a year ago about this, but then it's all run out the other ear. But I'll tell you what I do when I get a Raspberry Pi. I go online, do a Google search for what are these pins and how are they numbered. And so, like in the book I was reading again today, that each one of these are numbered. You start at the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and they're all numbered. And there are different types of GPIO. There's power and ground. There's digital. There's analog. So you could theoretically hook this up probably a dozen different ways to these pins, because there's a lot of pins that you can pull out from the Pi.
Yeah.
We're only using a few, which reminds me, I need my own instructions on how this stuff wires up? Because I don't remember right off the top of my head. I need the wiring diagram. I could fake
Again,
it.
yeah, we'll need to look it up. But from what I remember, oh, you probably
Do you
want
have that book? I have one over there.
Oh wait, well we can also figure out because actually let's take a look at the servo wire. I mean, the nice thing is that we already have our the most necessary reference right here, which is this servo cable. So we have 3 pins here. We have, I don't know why they don't color these something a little bit more homogeneous what everybody uses, but at least servo wires tend to be all the same color. And you got this brown pin, red, and then orange. So what we have here is ground, 5-volt power, and then our orange signal cable. So we plug this onto...
What I like about that is if I plug it in backwards, which I always seem to do, since the power is in the center, it's not going to hurt anything.
Now, if I'm remembering, so you want the ground from the battery and power to come in off of on this the middle pin here. And then these pins route vertically. So this pin corresponds to the one above it. I should probably get a more precise pointing tool. This routes up to here, this routes up to here, so on and so forth. There are 2 here that are bridged together. Those are what we'll use for the 2 motor servos.
Oh, that's right. I remember now.
Yeah, and we should also probably build the pan tilt assembly too.
Oh, yeah. I remember now. That's why those are joined together, because that's joining the 2
So if you
servos
remember
together.
correctly, maybe
so
I
ground
soldered
is on
this.
bottom or top?
I may have soldered this. I have soldered this slightly wrong. I mean, it's nothing we can't adjust for. But so
Where do you want the ground?
ground is the bottom pin. We're going to call this the bottom. Ground is down here. Power, and then the 2 that are bound together are these 2 right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right in the middle, right?
Right. Is it right in the middle? Maybe.
Nope.
No, I'm
Did I
offset
miss
a little
it?
bit.
Oh, no, that's right. This one and... Whoops. There we
All
go.
right. And while that's been
that's-
going, we've been configuring and compiling.
Dude, you are brave.
Well, normally I wouldn't compile live on a stream, particularly on a computer
I actually never would, ever. I don't know how.
as unpowered as a Raspberry Pi. But this stuff is actually really, really simple.
Don't believe him. I think it's hard. You give me instructions and it can be easy. Luckily, if you buy the book, you have them.
Well, the good thing is I have instructions here, and you can follow these instructions if you look in the description there. The read more is the full project instructions here as we're going along and building this.
That's cool.
It says, Pi Blaster is ready to run on your Pi.
I'm going to get these other parts out.
Oh, it's telling me to go. I already did the sudo raspi config. We're fine. Okay, now it wants us to do the apt-get update. But I remember this not taking terribly long either. But then again, there's...
You know what I loved about that? I keep talking good about Coder. What I loved about that Coder is, like I just said, I don't know how to compile. I keep having guys tell me, it's easy, it's easy. But that Coder, you download an image, and you stick it in your Pi.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
it.
much.
It'd like ask you for put your card in.
Yeah, most of the time you don't even need to compile stuff. You just sudo apt-get update, or sudo apt-get
So cool.
install this, that, and the other. And
I loved how easy that was for Coder, though. It just said put in the SD card and do it. Okay,
yeah,
I
I
can
mean
do
that's
that.
how you get started with most Raspberry Pi packages. You you download the entire image. And
You
then,
can even buy them, right? I don't know.
I mean,
I know Adafruit sells like Raspbian, like you just order the.
And a lot of the
card
kind
and put it in.
a lot of the kind of projects that people are building, whether they want to create a retro arcade with a bunch of game emulators, that's you can just download that as an image called RetroPie.
Dude, I just did that like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, there's now I found with that camera mounting there. Let's get a
what do you
close look
think?
at that guy. Those pins did not. Again, knowing your machine and knowing your tolerances, those pins do not fit the holes for the Raspberry Pi or the Pi camera.
Just use a bigger hammer, dude.
Well, I used a more delicate hammer, and I just trimmed these off.
Oh, they'll fit for sure then.
And then it just ended up being a
Easier.
pressure fit between these, a friction fit between these two these
What did
two
you-
sides.
What printer did you print this on?
This is an Ultimaker 2.
See, I used a PrintrBot.
Of course
Worked
you
the
did.
first time. No, I love the Ultimaker guys. I do not own one, so I don't know how good they work. But I hear
they
they're
are-
great.
Yeah, I need.
They really are. Can I push it over? Just like
You could. Yeah, I'm sure you could probably just snap it over.
donk, snapped right off.
Don't break it.
I forget which is that the top there? Is it I can tell
I
from
just
this.
you can tell from matching the pins up with the
Oh,
pins.
funny. Oh, that is the LED. Okay, cool.
Okay, so
Credit where credit is due. I did not design this part. I found it on Thingiverse. And I was like, I don't know, I'll try this one. It worked literally the first time with this perfect fit. And the pins on mine fit right together. I was so impressed. So I credited the person that did that in the book and said, thank you. Cool.
and I'm going through and the other thing we're going to need throughout the instructions, you recommended using CA glue.
Yeah.
We
don't have to, but
we are consistent. Well, there are some parts that need to be glued together, and we're consistently bad at keeping CA glue in stock and
oh, okay. Hot
in
glue's
a
fine.
in a form. I mean, it always just turns into a rock the next time you need it.
Man, I tell you, do you use the stuff off Amazon with like purple and blue? There's a purple and there's a blue. There's a thin one, and then there's this guy. It doesn't look like you've used it before.
Shift over to here to
So
switch
you're
the camera
talking
back
about
to us.
cyano. How do you say it?
Cyanoacrylate?
Acrylate, which is well, like it'd be super glue. But there's this stuff on who does that. There's this guy on Amazon that sells like a purple bottle, and it's quite a lot of it, and a blue bottle, and they last forever. And it doesn't have that problem where you have to like ditch it. The super glue seems to like.
Are you talking about like the two-part epoxy?
No, it's just no. There's two. There's a thin that dries really fast, like it will glue your fingers together instantly. And then there's another one that's thicker that you have to like blow on it for a while for it to work. But when I was doing wood printers, that stuff works so perfect on wood. And I started using it on plastic PLA parts. It bonds really quickly.
Yeah.
You gotta get a bottle of that. Check it out. Anyway, but that'll work. Hot glue's fine.
Yeah. For stuff at home, normally I'm actually. Did I already? Oh, I did plug that hot glue gun in. So
Yeah, it's heating up. Yeah, so this is another, just like I said at the very beginning, you want to line your servo horn. The center pivot point needs to go in the center.
yeah, if you want to get that under the under the lens there.
So the center of the circle will be where it turns. So it doesn't wobble.
Right.
You want to put it in like that and not like this, which I did wrong the first time as well. I try to do everything wrong to learn and be able to tell you how to do it
That's
right.
how you know you're doing it right. So you got to do it wrong first.
Okay, so we're going to go down through this. Is that right? Yeah. That's how this goes. And then the other one, that little, it's only one way to do this one. No, I guess there is two ways to do this one. You
I
can
know
do
that because I did it wrong the first time.
See? You and me both.
Yeah,
But
the,
this goes wire up, I believe.
Yeah, wire up and rotatey bit up.
Yeah. So there was even, and I see you didn't, I don't think you printed it. The
the little cap.
the little cap was just aesthetics.
Tell you what, I do have a cap printed out.
Yeah.
It's even the right color, although it's the wrong color for
So-
this one.
That is fitting right into the slot. I can move this for now. So I'm just going to press it straight down.
Oh, come on.
Oh, that's beautiful. In the book, I say this is a press fit affair, and boy, did that work out nice.
There you go.
Did I go the right direction? I think I did. Does that look right?
Well, that's.
I need the picture in the book, man.
Again, we have a reference. So
Okay.
your question, you want
It is hard with the lights in my eyes. I couldn't see.
the
Here. He's just orienting that correctly so I don't get it wrong.
and this is accurate. This is correct.
I got lucky.
All right.
You want me to wrestle with these little screws?
Yeah, if you want to punch those in there. And while Brooke has been building that out, I've been installing the software packages onto the Raspberry Pi, and those are such fun numbers like Subversion, libjpeg 8-dev, ImageMagick, libavtools, and CMake.
Dude, see, all of that is Greek to me.
I assume that somebody out there is familiar with these packages. I know that at least we've used ImageMagick before. Actually, the first one of these for the Raspberry Pi, the Pixie GIF camera used ImageMagick.
What does it do? I don't even know what it does.
That tool?
Yeah.
No idea. Witchcraft.
Exactly. What is the right size for that guy?
I believe that would be I should already have it out.
Do you? Oh, here it is.
Yeah, it's right there. It's the 2mm.
When I started my website, we used iFixit to do like tutorials on how to build stuff.
Yeah.
They had this neat tool that they were using for all their like iPhone teardowns and everything. And people were like, that's really awesome how you do that. And so we subscribed, and we were one of the first guys to like do a whole bunch of stuff on it. And the coolest thing about it, I got one of these toolkits in like this awesome laser cut wood case with like magnet lid and everything. It is my favorite tool set. I do feel at home with this little tool because it's the same one that I have. Everything else here, though, when you're not in your own shop, I'm looking around for tools.
Yeah, you're like, wait, where is everything?
Yeah, so I'm pre-threading this just so I don't have to fight it.
Yeah. And meanwhile, I'm installing the software we're going to be using to broadcast the image from this camera, which is MJPEG Streamer.
That one's pretty common. I'm so thankful there are Linux gurus out there giving all these tools to us for these wonderful projects. We would never be able to do it alone. It's just not even going to happen.
Well, that's the whole reason why open source is so important, is because you can get a lot more done if you don't need to rebuild all the tools yourself.
Yeah, the internet has just kind of connected all these people with different specialties. And so I'm a total generalist. Mm-hmm. If there's not instructions online, I can't do it.
All of technology is nerds standing on the shoulders of
giants,
of other nerd giants.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I have MakerBot to thank for my first foray into 3D printing, and I have Prusa to thank for my second. And these companies really got us started. Okay, that one is going to give me trouble. Can I drill that? I'd reach for my drill. Look at this. You going to make me just force it in there?
Might be able
it's kind of oval, that one.
I mean, I guess
it could be my faulty design, but
maybe if we used the right printer.
I know, right? If we had a PrintrBot, I might be able to manhandle it. Don't try this at home, kids. It'll be all right.
Yeah, and if you want a power tool to try and drive that, see if that might help.
Do you have one?
Or make things worse.
Like a little
that
guy?
drill?
I know I've got you dancing a jig over there, installing software and trying to help me with my 5 thumbs.
Let's see. Where's that 2-bit, 2mm driver?
Is it this one? There we go.
Let's check this in.
Don't go too far, it'll dig it out. Be your cameraman.
Oh yeah.
This is pretty good job. Those are kind of long, huh? That's what I used.
All right, that one started. Now let's get.
Can you get it started?
Got some heat in there too.
I know. That always amazes me. I've got more blisters on my finger from doing just that very thing. Into just PLA, it heats up. Lots of friction.
Okay, there we go.
I can't believe you held that right after.
It's actually not. I mean, it's not hot. It was just a little bit warm.
Oh.
Not too.
I burned
Nothing too
myself
bad.
doing that. Okay.
Okay. now with MJ, oh, now I need to type in this amazing. You know, I'm not even gonna try. I'm gonna copy and paste that right in.
Just barely had a little bit on top there.
See.
Was that bit still in that screwdriver? Yeah, I'm gonna grab it.
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
When assembling stuff, don't do what we're doing. Don't use a power driver because they're so strong.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. When especially in metal like aluminum, if you power drive something in and it gets down to the bottom, it'll just tear those threads right out.
Yeah. All right, where's the command where we get the streaming working?
I have probably 30, I don't know, maybe more of those power screwdrivers in my shop. And depending on which one you pick up, the clutches are worn out differently on each item. So they have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like jackhammer. And if you pick up the wrong drill and dial it to 8, you're going to get a different. So I always use the power driver to drive almost all the way in. And then before you finish tightening it, you use an Allen wrench by hand,
Yeah.
the way God intended to do it with your hands. Because you got that feeling of like how tight, how much resistance is this really giving me? And you can stop before you hear that crack or you break the screw head off. Dude, there's so much force holding this servo down.
Good news, everybody. We have another camera active.
Hey!
Because we just got MJPEG streamer working on this thing, so there's our hot glue gun.
That is awesome.
Don't leave it plugged in.
Dude, this is just too much fun.
All right.
I love it. That is that's almost like, that's ridiculous. There's Mike. Oh, he turned it off. Or is it on still?
Well, it's still on here, but
yeah, okay.
It's not on the stream anymore.
So I get to play with it,
Yeah.
but they don't.
Yeah. Okay, so that is
All right.
the
So
software mostly.
you can do like backflips in software before I can get 2 freaking screws in.
This is just making the computer do stuff.
It's like when I eat dinner. It's like I look around at the end of dinner and I still have food on my plate. I'm like, why is everybody eating so fast? And they always say, Dad,
Talk less.
You talk too much. You don't get anything done.
All right, and one last thing we need to do before we are completely done on the software, and then I need to mount the Raspberry Pi down to
Yeah, we're getting close.
the top plate. Yeah, we're
job.
nearly there.
Good job with the software, man. I still cannot believe you did that live. In my live show, I would have done like total smoke and mirrors. Like pound on a keyboard,
Well,
and then look, it works. It's like the baking shows where you're like,
we're doing
and here is what came out of the oven.
We're doing a little bit of that. I mean, I skipped over all the soldering stuff.
Is the hot glue ready to go?
The hot glue should be totally ready.
Okay. So I remember nothing. What is it? Is it? Oh, it's here. Yeah, that's the shape, right?
Oh yeah.
It's there on top.
Let me confirm that.
Looks
'cause,
like it.
it's so the little
That could
hole
be.
in the corner is on the top. The ribbon cable comes out the bottom, and if you're
Yeah, it's like that, right? Yeah, you take it.
let's see,
Oh, you still got the Pi attached.
no, it's like that.
Oh, it's like that.
Yeah.
Tricky. I'm so glad I asked you. Oh, I see. Yeah, because it's kind of a sidearm camera.
Yeah.
And is it going to mount? One thing about this particular part of the project, when you get to installing this arm, you don't want to screw it down yet because you got to kind of orient it. So is it like that?
Well, the thing I found that I was doing, we got to get the servo horn in there too.
Yeah.
is...
Oh, that's a screw-in deal, isn't it?
It is.
Should I? I'll wait to glue it. Opposite of the hole, yeah.
But you can... You know, the stops that exist in the stops
servo?
the stops that exist in the servo are completely mechanical, so you can feel them with the servo horn.
Yeah.
Oh, why are you trimming that off?
Wait.
You can fit all that leverage in there.
How?
It just snaps in there.
What do you mean? How are you going to get that in there?
Oh no, you're using the wrong one.
Of course I am. Is there a right one?
Yeah, there's a single arm one. It's probably still...
Do I have to just dump that out? I didn't see. Oh, there it is. It was hiding.
Yeah,
My
they'll
bad.
do that.
I didn't look hard enough. There it is. I thought I was going to be able to break something.
I mean, don't let me stop you.
Oh wait, now that's too long. Whoop. I have like so many of these. It's ridiculous.
Well, you get like 20 of them in every servo you buy.
You know, they are a little bit different across manufacturers. Because when I look in my little box where I put all of these, they're slightly different.
We also need to attach the other servo horn to the bottom plate as well. And that's the thing that the panning servo will attach to.
Right. You got that to go in there without trimming anything?
Maybe I'm lucky. Maybe I used different parts, because those are the ones from the continuous rotation servos.
Oh,
I think.
maybe I'm drawing from the wrong bag here.
Like you said, each one has their own sizes.
It does. It's a different package for sure.
Yeah. See if that guy treats you better.
Oh, I love it. Yes. Ta-da! Oh, that's easy. Hello. Okay, cool. Much better. These are cool, so you can put it on here because there's little notches around this little horn and little matching notches in there, so you can kind of feel it grab and the teeth will grab.
Exactly, and then you can use that to position
Right.
where you so you can line it up
And then you can
with
put
that
this-
position. And then you feel good about
Where did that bag go? And then you put that little screw in after you know everything is right.
right.
And it holds that on. Okay, that was cool. Are you okay if I glue this
Yes. So
opposite the hole?
that's how the cable's pointing down, and you got that off on the left side if you're facing the camera.
Okay, cool. It's a little dab.
Ooh, ooh,
Whoops.
ooh.
Sorry.
That's right.
Here?
Yeah.
Oop. Of course, I use too much, as always.
Well. Nice thing about hot glue is it just finds a place to go.
It does.
I'm going to use a little hot glue to attach this servo horn.
Oh, good job.
Yeah, steal this camera from you here. It's all very white, and I apologize for that. It's probably overexposing. But yeah, this is the bottom plate. This is the inside of it. So I'm just gonna dab a little bit of glue around here just to hold this in place.
Cool thing about that hot glue is you can get it off.
Yeah.
When you use...
Denatured alcohol.
Really?
That's what I always use
For
it.
hot glue?
Yeah.
I use a bigger hammer, like a big old piece of like pliers, and just squeeze.
You can do that too, but if you use denatured alcohol, you just get it right along the seams where the bond is formed.
Really?
And it just breaks right loose.
You just taught me something. That's
That's,
awesome. Not hard to do, but that's awesome.
Can't remember who I learned that trick from. Can't remember if that's a Jimmy DiResta. It might be a Jimmy DiResta trick.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm going to put this on too, because this is just a press fit. You know, I still question myself. Does that have room?
That's correct, yeah. I questioned that the first time. I was like, am I just mashing this against the cable? I guess the answer is yes, I am.
Oh, that does feel vaguely familiar. Could I put a little hot glue in there?
I mean,
Why not?
Why not? It's already there.
You get me started with hot glue, I will use it every time. Okay. was just a little, that groove was just a little bit too loose for me. This will keep its little hat on. Ta-da.
All right, let's take a look at the
Cool.
wiring block here. Oh, you only have the two.
Oh yeah, I stopped way short, didn't I?
The two motor servos there.
So we got to go power. You're going to be, since you've done this more recently. So this fits on here, correct?
Yes.
And then it will rotate with our camera. Oh look, I just glued us to the.
Okay.
And then I glued my fingers to it.
At least you didn't burn yourself.
That's awesome. I'm sorry, dude.
That's all right. All right.
That's what you put me in the driver's seat, dude. Stuff's gonna happen.
I'm gonna let that sit. And
Yeah,
let
it's not
that,
done yet. I thought it was dry. Sorry.
Where's that scraper? Where's that awful tool?
I'll get it. Okay. Anyway. All right. So we've got all the major pieces here. I feel like it's like final assembly time almost. Where's the body of it? You wanna?
The body.
You wanna do the connections?
Here's the main body. That's where everything lives.
It's like the walls of the little room.
Where are we at here? What do we want to do next? I'm going to go ahead and get this thing. Did we already find that where home on this is?
No, I did not. Should I glue that little horn in there, or you want to leave it snap? Oh, good job.
I'm going to move that. What am I doing? Basically, I want it so that one of the stops of the servo is pointed straight forward, which is going to be this way. This is oriented upside down, but okay, so there's that stop. I'm going to pop this guy off.
Yeah, so you're finding it so when it turns on, it doesn't smash itself into the pavement there and
Right, yeah, because you can
destroy
easily
itself.
Yeah, you can easily have it so it just bashes its head against the top of this this pan disc here. Got that a little bit wrong. It's going to be pointed slightly down, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
And fit that over there, and then we can get that screwed into place. Here's this guy. So that screwdriver there.
Yep, there you go.
Getting a chance to take a peek over at chat really quick. Roy Reynolds is asking what we've been drinking. This is water. I assure you, water. Is that my water? I think so. Did you have water?
What's the matter, Roy? You're not taking us serious? We're experts. Man, I am so glad that I do a live show every week. In fact, I'm doing this one instead of the PrintrBot Live.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's usually 4:30 on Thursdays. And we just do Facebook Live, but I can't. I tried once reading the comments, but they make fun of me so much. Which rightly so, that's fine.
Yeah.
But, I can't read what people are saying or I just like stop and like,
Oh, it's tough to not internalize that, but yeah,
it's like my kids can do that. Like they'll do TV or a movie while they're on like Twitter, and then they're playing a game on another tablet or something. I can't even really do one thing really well at a time.
I
Two
wouldn't.
things, forget it.
I don't know that I'd really say that I'm doing this well, but the point is you're having fun. Are you guys having fun? We hope you're having fun.
Well,
I
am.
You're sticking with us, so you're not. It's not like we're paying you to be here.
Dude, this is. I may get Mike to pour me a drink a little later. We have. I'm not even going to ask if I can say this, Mike. I'm just going to say it. At PrintrBot, at the end of the week, we've done our hard work, and at the end of a Friday, things about if you work until 5, about 3 o'clock, you start to think about getting home. The weekend starting, so we have a very disciplined beer Friday. So we sit around and I got a tap, and we appropriately have one drink. But anyway. I like to celebrate at the end of the week. But in this case, I get a little loopy at the end of a build.
Yeah, I'm shutting the Pi down here because we need to. Well, most notably, we need to unplug the camera cable so we can fit it through. This
That's like starting to look
slot
like something,
here.
dude.
That's where we're starting to make a thing.
I love white. It's funny because up here is black.
Yeah.
I was saying earlier, it's like Darth Vader and a stormtrooper.
Oh, nice, nice.
It does kind of look like a fun little robot with an eye staring right at you.
It's a little it's a little like
Portal.
like GLaDOS.
Yes, my kids are playing through Portal 2 just last week.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that game's a lot of fun.
It is. I can't do her voice.
Oh,
All I know is there's cake later or something.
yeah.
Yeah, this little slot will actually be used to route.
Yeah, just fit all the cables through there.
Will we have enough? It's only like 2 feet of that.
I think we'll have enough of that cable. All right.
Yeah, so this will tilt, and this will rotate.
And the thing I like about this now is that we get the now we get to see the against the white that hardware is just going to really pop out at us. It'll look
Oh, that's
cool.
true. Yeah, you'll see it on camera better too. I guess the bottom, I was fitting the.
Mohammed Reza wants to know, is this real live video? Yes, this is real live video. We are building this thing right before your eyes. I was about to think, what's some way that I could prove that this is live? But I guess that's probably all I really need to
Let's
do.
get you get a newspaper and you hold it up in front of the camera.
Yeah, but I mean, he was asking us. I mean,
Live?
I'm
Yeah, a
responding
watch?
to your comments, so I guess that's
You could show an iPhone.
as most live as he can get. And Mohammed says he loves this channel. Thank you.
Yeah, this is awesome. Dude, thanks for the help with this, man.
Yeah, thank you for developing this project.
I'm trying to think of what to do next. I've got a day job building 3D printers, but what's fun about it is there's so many projects you can do with a 3D printer. But this book was really about
Actually, we could probably
don't just print a Yoda head. Like, don't print. I mean, Yoda heads are cool, but there are so many projects that you can do if you start to get a Pi and do a project with a Raspberry Pi. Or get an Arduino and do a project with it. Get outside of just 3D printed parts. Get a screwdriver out, a hacksaw, and do something with metal.
Or learn at least, even if the only tool you have to start with is a 3D printer, which is a weird tool to start with. But learn something like SketchUp or Fusion or
Yes.
or I can't remember which one.
Tinkercad
Tinkercad or 123D Design. Although that one went away recently. Design your own parts.
Yeah.
They don't even need to be that elaborate. I mean, off to the side of where we're filming this here are these baker's racks, and I'm like, I need storage for cables, so I just designed these hooks that just hook right onto it.
Oh, that's
and,
cool. I see 'em.
I mean, those parts don't take long to design. Well, now that I have the familiarity with the tools and the tolerances, they didn't take long to design. I mean,
There you go.
sometimes I can design something in just a few minutes, but you know.
I showed my wife, she used to watch me design, and she, for whatever reason, like, I'm 46, she's younger, but by a couple of years, but we're of the generation where I didn't grow up with 3D games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was a little bit hard for me to get my head around that, but I took drafting in high school. Like, I took a bunch of, took welding and all that. But the drafting, it's funny because on a regular drawing of something you're designing, you have to send off to a machinist. There's a top-down view, so you can see the top-down. Then there's like a side view where you see the side, and then there's the other side where you see the side. It's all very two-dimensional. But when my son started fooling around with SketchUp and Tinkercad, he just was, I would like tell him, like, okay, so it's like 3 dimensions, like the real world. He's like, I know, Dad. I'm like, what do you mean you know? He's
So
like,
he's
it's like
already got it.
Minecraft. I know.
Oh, right,
And I'm like,
right.
what? Ah! It's so much easier for them, I think. And now there'll be a generation that remember VR like it was old news. Like, my Commodore 64 will be the iPhone or Google cardboard setup for VR or augmented reality. But it's kind of second nature. I say Tinkercad if you're younger, but certainly if you're 46, like download Fusion 360, man. It forces you down like a little more traditional workflow, but you will be so thankful. Watch their tutorials online. I kind of wish it would have been around so I could have just jumped right to that, because we actually use that for all of our, we were talking about CNC earlier.
Yeah.
All of our pathing for CNC. We'll cut stuff on our Tormach right out of Fusion 360. I'll take it to the CrawlBot right out of Fusion 360. But 3D printing, it has these tools that are just like draw square and then pull up on it. And now you got a three-dimensional shape.
Yeah. And that's the basic.
You can learn this. This looks great.
All right, so now we're looking at the bottom of this thing as we start to install the components. I'm reattaching this ribbon cable here. Oh, and soon I'm going to need to find the pinouts.
Oh, yeah.
Where we need to
You want me to
plug-
grab my book? Grab my
Sure.
book. Step over that cord. real
Although
quick.
you're on a pretty short leash, though.
Okay,
Do you have
it's just right here.
okay, great. I thought you were going to run all the way to our
I will
library.
reach.
Can't remember. Do we still need the hot glue gun for anything? I think we can unplug it.
Yeah, I think we're good.
That smell starts to bother me after a while.
You don't
I
like
know,
that?
I don't
They
know
need
if it's a
They need glue gun scented glue.
oh yeah, like the
Little
scented,
banana.
like the scented filament.
That stuff is ridiculous. Like I did walk into, man, it's 110 degrees in Sacramento.
Ooh.
I'm up in Lincoln, and like I've had people ask me, "Oh, dude, I'd love to come work with you." Really? Because it's 100 degrees in my shop right now, and we're all like scattered to the little bitty air-conditioned rooms that we've created. But I walked into our bot farm yesterday, and I was like, "What is that?" Oh, it's PLA. It smells like pancake syrup to
Yeah.
me. It's exactly
it
like
smells like waffles.
yeah, it's like corn. Yeah, because it's made from corn.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That makes
Corn.
sense.
Yeah, it's kind of sweet smelling.
All right. So I've just attached the power from this four gang battery pack into our signal board here, and then we have. Actually, before I do too much else, I want to get.
Oops, sorry.
There.
I keep stepping on you. Both literally stepping on your cord and figuratively stepping on your audio.
That's okay.
There it is.
There's our wiring diagram. Oh, but that only has the first part of the story. It's not the question of where does it go on the Raspberry Pi, but you also need to know
There's Pi, and this is
what those pins actually mean.
yeah, but this has it. So this is oriented just like the board, I believe, ground on the bottom,
Yeah.
and then the middle pin of all the servos, which we determined was the power, and then the top is signal. And then yeah, it cross-references what it says both what pin on the Pi and what it is. Yeah, if you have this book or you see the article, when we first hooked it up and we're playing around with it, I added these end stops, and I would hit the wall, and I actually 3D printed these little things that would clip onto your wire, and it would hang down, or if it hit a wall, you could make it reverse directions. But yeah, when I built it the second time, I was like, okay, we're going to do that later.
Not going to worry about those parts.
You can't. There are mounts for end stops. So I don't think we're doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, we're skipping
the
over the end
basics.
stops. So this tool has no brain. Use your brain.
You can though. You can code. Well, no, you can't. If I can't, oh, you can. We need a program, man. I need a guy that just sits around and codes these little projects. Do you have a coder on staff?
We have a couple. They have a million projects that they are trying to get
I know,
out.
like that's the best kind of coder, the one that's too busy to help you.
Yeah.
Because he's so good. He's helping a lot of other people.
All right, I need to pull up the actual pinout diagram for the Raspberry Pi.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Because this is the reference. I think it's right. I just need to know one, and then it dances back and forth. This is what I have to do every project. Okay, so it's left to right across the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh, though, and now I need to remember like which direction this is facing.
This is the top.
Okay.
Oh, I see what you're saying. No, that's right. Just like you're looking at it.
Yeah.
So you've got, what do you have there?
This is the power output from the voltage regulator. So I go, that's power into there, and where's that ground pin coming off of there? Its immediate neighbor.
Ground is 6.
Yeah.
So it's the third one down. The first two, the third one.
Yeah.
You're on the fourth. Are they both ground? See, 1,
Oh, right.
2, 4, 6.
You're right.
Going right down, yeah.
All right, so there's that guy. We need a couple of jumper cables.
Oh yeah, I saw
Which
some in there. Those are so handy, and they have, you know, male to male, male to female, female to female. You need all of them.
Yeah.
You need all of them.
Actually, I think I'm one jumper cable. Oh, here it is right here. There's the last jumper cable I need. It's not the right color for ground, but we'll use it in this case. 'Cause
Well,
I
if
need
it's good enough for a servo.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so now I need to find where's our signal board.
So which one? Oh,
Well, we only need one for the two motors.
the drive servos.
The drive servos,
Pin GPIO, or say it's RPi pin 11,
pin 11.
which is the odd are on the left side. So just 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One down on the left.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Correct.
Hooray. Okay.
Yeah, I
And
wish
next-
they all lined up like in the software. It's a different pin number. Make sure you're looking at the Raspberry Pi pinout.
Yeah. And I need to figure out which one of these is the...
The pan,
pan
which
and-
is the tilt.
Yeah. This is our pan.
So pan is pin 15.
Well, first I need to get it plugged into our signal board here. This is where it gets really fiddly. Hopefully this is able to follow this on camera. Get the ground pin pointed down. Well, that jumper cable there got very heat warped by something. That was probably when I was blasting with a heat gun to get the shrink tubing on it.
Oh, I see it, yeah.
Okay, and
Did you remember that? You got that right. How did you remember that?
well, I mean, these are all kind of just the same to some degree, because I mean, that may not match what's on the diagram there.
Oh,
but-
I see. So the controls may be flipped if you get...
Okay, so this is pan.
So pan is 15, so you just did 11, so 2 doors down
2 doors down.
on the same side. Yeah, skip 13, go into 15.
At some point, it probably would have been smart for me to mount the Raspberry Pi onto the thing
That's
here,
okay.
but we'll
Either way.
work it out. And we have a pair of brown cables. This isn't going to be good, but we'll make sense of it.
So which one, tilt?
Now we got our tilt. We're going to need to plug that into our signal board.
Yep, just on the other side of the drive, the 2 drive servos. There you go. And this will go in between 11 and 15, so 13.
Yeah, I remember you made them all line up pretty nicely like that. And that goes right between there.
Yeah.
And we can
Did we get a ground? Oh, you already did that. We gotta bring a ground here.
That's right. We need to
So
pull a ground off of here and ground it to the Raspberry Pi.
so we use, yeah, and we were having trouble. Unless you connect all those grounds together, you'll have issues. So we're going to use pin 14, and that's on the even side, the right. So count down 7. 2, 4,
7
6,
from
8,
the
10,
top?
12, 14, or directly across from 13. So this one's 13 right across from it. It's 7 down.
Oh, right. Okay.
Or to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. The 7th pin.
Okay. What's that bigger battery pack?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I think you're on 6. I must have told you wrong. I'm just checking.
Good, somebody is. Yeah, that does look like 6 once I actually count the pins.
So did we get?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay.
That's definitely ground. 14 is ground.
Okay.
But didn't we connect to 11, 13, and 15? 11, 13, and 15. Oh, yeah, you got it now.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Got our battery pack here, and we can at least test to see if we're doing our job right and powered everything up. I'm not seeing this board light up, so that must mean that either my wiring's wrong or the switch is off. Something ain't right.
Well,
Which
you
gets-
haven't released the smoke yet.
No,
These things run on smoke. Don't let it out.
I have. This does mean that I'll be engaging everybody's favorite part of the show, although my least favorite part,
What is it?
the troubleshooting part.
Oh. All right, I'm going to double check this.
Yeah, double check that. I'm going to get our multimeter going, so I can.
Ground. Is this other switch need to be on?
Shouldn't need to be. Although, let's flip that on to.
I
Okay.
got-
We get
that
the,
gives power, so that's correct.
We get contact on the. First things first, I'm going to pull this off of here, check the
Wait.
voltage.
This is. You had the switch off. Now it's on.
I've also found that those switches maybe don't engage as nicely as I would like
Oh, yeah?
on both sides.
You just checking continuity?
Right now,
Or
I'm
voltage.
checking voltage.
No, you want to see if you got batteries at work.
Yeah, well,
That'll
you
be.
know, don't take anything for granted. So, see if I can get this. So the meter is a little easier to see. Well, there's your problem. Oh, I don't have that set up right. There's my problem.
You got something.
All right, got 9 volts coming out of there. So that's good.
Very good. You want to test at the regulator or all the way out at the board?
Well, let's do this a couple
Oh,
of different
I got a
ways.
light.
Oh. Okay, now it's working. Oh, ooh. The voltage regulator gets warm. Warm and a little shocky. Oh,
Oh, we're releasing the smoke!
I don't know why this is happening, but
Dude,
this is
that is-
happening.
Turn it off!
Yeah, let's kill that.
Wow.
Okay. That's our first instance of blue smoke on this
I
show.
was here to see it. That is awesome.
Okay. That doesn't tremendously surprise me because I did solder this entirely from memory.
Are you nuts?
Well, it's not that complicated of a circuit.
Which one? Which one did we short? Yeah, that is hot.
Yeah, don't touch that.
It's that. Oh my gosh. So something's making contact and
Yeah.
it's shorted. Well, we could
Well-
plug in a USB to this if you want to power this up to see it work.
We could do that. We could cheat our way through it. I don't know. What do people want to see? Would they want to see
You could do a
us
smaller.
fix this?
You could take the regulator out and run it off of. I've got a 4-pack. Well, you had one too, didn't you?
We have plenty of 4-packs.
We could jump around the regulator since it's not going to regulate for us anymore.
So what are you thinking?
So-
We could just run this straight into the Raspberry Pi
Yeah,
and call
it wants
good?
it wants what, 5 volts? Is that right? I was just reading that, but I think
5 volts and 4 AA's will supply 6.
yeah, which is fine.
As long as it doesn't, it's not going to kill anything.
It shouldn't. The famous last words, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's how you learn.
So there's the circuit. MC7805, is that what you used?
Yeah, it's the same one I did in the working one.
Does it look, is it the way that it was wired, or is there a short somewhere?
There's another, maybe there's a short.
So you've got, oh, there it is. You've got ground on the outside, unless you use white for ground, which I doubt.
I wired this up wrong. I wonder if this still works. If I just plug these in the better order. Yeah, because ground, you're right.
What
ground
could
should
possibly go wrong?
what could possibly go right? All right.
Dude, it's like fused itself.
These two are really together now. Sorry about the camera.
So let's see, 3, well, I don't know, look. Is this your plug-in here? 3 goes to 5 volts. So you had, what was the first one you had?
All right.
The center one is ground. And
yeah, middle
this goes-
should be ground.
and then the last one goes to the 100 microfarad capacitor on the positive side. So 1 will go to the negative side.
The real question here is whatever we were wondering what we were outputting from here, and did it cook the Pi? That's the other question.
That would be so sad.
That would be. All right, so
Well, the Pi wasn't smoking.
that's good. That's a good sign. Let's reconnect this to the battery, but now let's check the voltage on the output side.
We've got it was less of a regulator and more of a smoke maker.
More of a, yeah, cheap smoke machine. Bonus project from...
Is it getting hot now? That's a good sign.
All right, where is that multimeter?
Yeah, I wrote here in the chapter, do not hook this up to the Pi before testing.
Whoops. All right.
I think this is why. Have you seen those capacitors pop? Have you ever been around one that blows up? Just this really loud, like, you know, snap pop, like little. And they'll blow up. Wah wah. Is it touching both? I think we cooked it.
Think we killed it.
Surely the batteries still have voltage though.
Well, we can find that out by checking on here.
I'll see what the Pi wants. See, that's what the chat room should be doing for us, and maybe they are, answering all of our questions. Yeah, it wants 5 volts, so it's going to be fine with 6. We could skip the regulator, plug straight into.
Let's do that. Don't do it the way I did. Yeah, somebody may have fed back into these batteries and did them some wrong.
What do you got? What do you got? What are you measuring?
This is saying 104.
That is weird, dude. There's no way that's 104 volts.
No, it was like millivolts, microvolts.
Oh man, give me a dial on my voltmeter.
Okay, no, the batteries are still good.
Yeah. I just think 9 volts is a little bit much when it wants 5.
This voltage regulator, though, this not good. That's my mistake.
I still think we're okay. Do you want to? Oh, you got a 4-pack here.
Yeah, well, I got a 4-pack there. I can pop the batteries out of this thing.
Do you want to? You want me to take?
What we probably should do is
What is
desolder, at least solder the.
Here. This is probably, look, is that everything we need? We got a positive side. Is that a pin? Yeah, if that'll go onto the Pi, there's our positive, and then one of these, either one, can be our negative.
Yeah, and then we just need to get this into the,
Right?
should we do proper wire splices onto the 4-pack here?
No, I see you.
Let
Or you could.
me think here.
Oh, you mean to get the connector?
Yeah, just so we have a,
Well, there it is, right?
oh, but this, that won't,
Oh, dude, I have a 4 with that same plug.
yeah, unfortunately this doesn't. Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Should make you help out with all these streams.
Well, I mean, literally, I'm a little embarrassed because the one you're making is so beautiful. And here's my hacky version that I used for the, it's like got
Beautiful.
different colors. This is cool filament.
But look at those printed parts are really nice looking.
Let's see, oh, well, anyway. Yeah, so it's right in there. If I can get an Allen wrench. And then you won't have to rewire anything. I just need to take this apart. 2.5 Allen wrenches are like, I own literally thousands of them. They ship with all of our printers. So I can dig into, but what's bad is I'll grab one, it'll go in my pocket, and then
It's in your wash.
and then it's in the wash, and then I've got a stack of 20 of these on my workbench. I even have brand new batteries. But yours were good, right? It wasn't the batteries.
Yeah. Yeah, so I've already got the batteries out.
Okay, here we go. Ta-da. Boom. Look what I did. I cheated.
We'll allow it.
Look at this. That goes straight to the batteries.
There you go. All right, so you got that guy. What do you think? We should take these batteries out?
Oh, yeah. That's fine. I'll use them in my microphone next week. I like how you've got your, you don't have to rely on batteries for your audio.
It's not even so much, I would much prefer to be on a wireless mic set, but there's, you guys may or may not be able to hear this in the stream, but...
Is it for quality?
Well, we have this sort of like HVAC noise that we're trying to figure out something we can deal with. And all the wireless mics that we have do this sort of automatic noise gating.
Yeah.
And so it just makes this awful clippy sound. It just sounds terrible all the time. So my way around that is to not have it noise gated at all and just run the wired mics, and then it's all good.
Let's measure our voltage.
Yeah, let's do that first. So
Make sure we got the right polarity too.
take this ground, this really horribly melted thing.
It's awesome. It's character, man.
Yeah.
It gives it character. I love it. I actually like it when things break, and I mean that sincerely. We did not plan this, but what happens when things break is you have to get creative. And you can learn something. Has it got voltage? Why is it jumping around?
I'm wondering if this did some kind of harm to the jumper itself.
Here, let me hold one for you. So
Yeah, if you could.
let me do this side.
I'm also wondering if I did something in my haste to like maybe
Okay, I got this one on there.
I turned the power off or turned the switch off. 6.2 volts.
Yeah, that's right.
Good. Okay.
So
Yeah, I
back
probably
to the
once
pins.
we started seeing the smoke, I probably hit that switch.
So power is on the right, second one down.
So maybe even my original circuit might have been okay.
So you turn the switch off,
Switch is off.
and that's power, and it's, what are you on? The third one? Yeah. Okay, hold your breath, everyone. Ta-da.
Okay. And I'm gonna hit the switch here.
Yes.
I got activity, got our power light, everything's good. All right. Crisis averted.
Good job, man.
Now let's get.
So is it actually booting? Everything's rolling.
Oh, I turned it off.
Oh, okay.
Because the next step is going to be. I don't know. You just have yours kind of floating loose in there. I guess we could screw this in. What do you think?
We could put 2 screws in it, I guess.
Yeah, that'll hold.
All right. Is it M3?
I did those with the M2s, at least on
I think
the
that's a better
black
choice.
one. Those might be a
Otherwise-
little bit loose on these, though.
Otherwise, you're going to get... Oh, yeah. Actually, I like that. That'll hold it in.
Oh, do those just kind of press fit?
It kind of does just press fit in. If we can get 2 of these.
That means you don't have to wait around for us to screw these things in. All right,
That'll hold it.
now we have to do this sort of inelegant, kind of mash everything in here. I didn't find an elegant way to get it all to fit.
I would feel better if we wrapped some tape around that. Can we please?
Oh, around here?
Please?
Around here?
I'm worried about those pins being exposed.
Oh, right.
And like crossing with those. Here. Just one long piece. All right, we're about to have the reveal. We're getting close, people. Got it?
Yeah. I think just wrap
Yeah,
all
just
around
those.
here.
Please, thank you very much. Beauty.
You're a much better electrical engineer than me.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I've let out a lot of smoke in my day. Now, do you put this in?
Yeah, I mean,
Is it gonna fit?
like I said, it wasn't
They're
particularly
all the bottom.
elegant when I got the demo model to fit, but
Okay, we gotta align it this direction because we have to align the sides. How is this gonna work? Here, let me see. We're going this way with these fins. So this is gonna have to be on that side, and I will be shocked if all of this fits. You're using a different battery pack than I did, but let's see if we can get it going. Get under there. Under where?
all right.
There you go.
And now we need to get a couple more of these M2.5 screws.
You know what would have been awesome is if you knew when you turned it on if the light was blinking. Will we get a light on the camera?
Not until you fire the streaming software up.
There you go. You want me to hold it?
We've got a question. How long will the battery last?
2-3 minutes. I'm joking. I don't know. I forget how long it lasts, to be honest. I do remember thinking I got to use rechargeables. The original intent was to have it too complicated, but this is the dream, not the dream before you design. Is at one end of the wire you have a little recharger on the wall and you plug it in, so it recharges. So you have to have a charging circuit and everything.
I can tell you this much. It's not the best answer in the world, but the unit that I finished building the other day, I haven't changed the batteries on it yet, and I have probably had it running for like 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And it hasn't stopped yet. So that's not the best answer in the world, but it gives you a place to start a baseline from.
You can see, because there's so many options with batteries, like I have all these quadcopter batteries, these little itty bitty batteries that are so much lighter than these AA, and they last quite a while. That's really what I recommend, is find a battery that is light, like a quadcopter battery. And then it could last a lot longer, or at least be a lot lighter.
Right.
And then they're easier to recharge. Just drill a hole in the side, string a little wire out. It's funny because I did this electric skateboard. We looked forever to find a proper switch to turn on however many volts it was. There's a lot of voltage. And Nick kept asking me, well, why are you putting a switch on it? I was like, what are you talking about? You got to turn it off. He's like, just unplug it. So when you go to do a quadcopter, if you've built it, you're just plugging in these bullet connectors. Yeah. So there's not a lot of, so you can actually get an automotive switch. But anyway, all that to say, hanging 2 wires out the side where you just unplug them it sounds like hacky, but you could do it. But that wire would be available for you to charge as well if you did that.
Okay, so if I remember correctly, I don't think that, I think I switched the Pi's power off.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the servo power. Okay, that's the servo power. That should be the Pi's power. And then in a short little bit, we should start seeing, I should be able to connect to this over the network. And that's one of the first things we'll need to do once we get it powered up. Because the MJPEG streaming software doesn't boot up on its own, we need to launch that manually.
Cool. Good job, man. That looks sharp. I really do like the white better than mine.
Well, if you want to take this away, call it yours.
Don't.
Well, we already have one.
Oh, so that means I'm the good guy and you're the bad guy? You're the black one?
Well,
The
you'd be
Darth Vader version? I'm
if
the
you're the
stormtrooper?
stormtrooper,
Oh,
then-
we're both bad.
But you're the one who can't aim.
That is accurate. The white is nice because I can draw on it. I can write on.
There you go.
On the switch. Like on, off.
Well, that's why I always keep a silver Sharpie with me everywhere, too. Yes.
There we go. Drew an eye. All right, so you're doing your fancy. What is it asking for?
I'm trying to figure out, oh, there. I made the dumb mistake of installing MJPEG Streamer in the Pi Blaster folder. So at first I was like trying to go into that folder.
Oh, you were just trying to access the streamer?
Yeah. So I just want to get that part going. Somewhere in my command history is that.
Oh, yeah, I
long-
do love that about everything you type is remembered. You just go up. Or is it side to side? I forget.
All right, and
Did we have it on a different tab? I think it's going. Look, I got the.
get the red light and everything.
Yes. Oops, sorry. Okay, I'm starting to see your point on wireless. We keep stepping on each other's. Which camera is on? Is this one always on?
Right now it should be this one, and there. Get to see our camera. It's a little slow.
Dude, this is progress. Is it
I'm refreshing the page.
Oh, okay.
You got another viewer question about
I'm gonna set this here.
pulling the power on the Pi. Is it bad for the Pi if you don't
You know-
shut it down properly, or can you just yank the cord?
That is hotly debated. Okay, so the question that we got was, does it hurt the Pi to pull the power, like just pull the battery right when it's running?
Yeah.
The technical answer is don't do this. Don't do as I do. Do as I say. But, you know, like with Octoprint or Raspbian or something, some people say, yeah, you can damage the memory. It's trying to do something or save a file, and then you pull the plug while you're going to screw up your image. And I have seen that happen with me because I'm a big dunce with that stuff sometimes. But, and what I've done is I've actually pushed on the SD card, disconnected the memory right as it's trying to write to the card. So yeah, you do run the risk of ruining something, but hey, look at you, man. You're making things happen. But if it happens, I wouldn't panic. Just turn it back on to see if you've ruined anything. It's better to shut it down elegantly and do it the way it's supposed to. So whenever I have access to where it will turn itself and shut itself down, it's going through quite a few steps to make sure that it does it properly. Don't just pull the power.
All right. So the other thing I've gone into here is this is the sort of coder web interface, and this is how we can use this to control the machine.
Yeah, look at you go. Yeah, those are fast. So these are going to work in unison together.
Yeah.
To go, and they're going the same direction.
Yeah. Let's go back to that.
Good job,
camera.
man. I don't know if says too much about myself, but every time I get to the end of a project and it works, I am surprised. I really am. I'm like, I can't believe this worked.
So here we can
Yeah, baby.
see the control and have those moving around.
Dude, good job, man.
And
I'm telling you,
then,
if I would have been doing this alone, it would never work. Not the first time, or the second.
Nothing works the first time.
Yes. Now, does the big one rotate?
So you
Is
can
that-
control.
Okay. Yes, dude, you did this. That is awesome. I'm not kidding. I'm impressed.
And
You're doing fine work here, Tyler.
again, the
Don't act
camera's
like
a
it's
little-
easy.
The camera's a little bit
Okay.
slow. Here's this really out-of-date picture of me.
I'll tell you what.
But
The slowness is greatly improved when you go to a Raspberry Pi 3. It's ridiculously faster.
yeah, and I mean I found it plenty fast on the 2. I don't know why this one's slow. Maybe we did some harm with it when we fed it. Who knows what?
How do you keep that one? Is that one off?
I think that one might be turned off.
Oh, okay. I noticed that when I have 2 Raspberry Pis on the same network and I go to like octoprint.local,
Yeah.
it's kind of like a crapshoot. Which one's going to show up?
I always just learn to figure out which the IP is. And
Yeah,
at least on our network here, and Raspberry Pis tend to be pretty good at picking up the same IP address over and over again.
Really?
Although then again, the one I use, I say that, but all the ones I have at home are constantly changing IP.
okay.
So I just, again,
It depends on your network.
that mobile software I use called Fing, I just use that, scan my network, and figure out where things are, and then connect to them. But hey,
Dude.
we made a thing.
I'm impressed, man.
So,
Seriously, good job.
again, thank you all so much for watching and sticking with us and being able to celebrate our first release of the Blue Smoke here on Make Live.
Yes.
Once
And of
again,
course, I think it had something to do with me being involved. I'm telling you.
I think it had everything to do with me creating that voltage regulator circuit
Soldering
from
from
memory.
memory.
I'm like, it's so simple. But I also want to make sure to thank again Digi-Key, who make this series possible. Again, if you're not familiar with them, you can buy all the parts for this project, all the electronic components, the Raspberry Pi, the servos, all the circuit components, ones to replace the ones that I torched here live on this stream. You can get it straight from them. They'll probably have it, if you order now, maybe you'll get it Saturday, maybe you'll get it tomorrow. They ship fast. They're an amazing partner. They make this series possible, and,
That's awesome.
and we're incredibly fortunate to have them on board. So get your parts for this project or any other project you have from them. And I also want to thank Brook for coming out from PrintrBot.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.
If you're not familiar with them, what do you guys do? You make some.
We sell 3D printers. We manufacture in the US of A. We make 3D printers. Go check it out at PrintrBot.com. And normally, are we competitors now on our live stream? Our live stream? That's mine. I have a live stream and you have a live stream.
I guess we are. Maybe we should find a different time slot. So
I can move because I want to watch you. But anyway, so we do something like this too, but it's just me babbling on for, I don't know, half an hour or something. But check out PrintrBot.com.
And PrintrBot, we love their printers. They always rank incredibly highly in our digital fabrication test, which, however, for this year is happening very, very soon.
Oh yeah, it's soon.
So we're, not that you'll know the results from that until towards the end of the year. That's our last issue of the year is our big digital fabrication thing, but we're going to be doing that testing soon. That doesn't help you because you'll know that we're testing. We won't know the results. We don't even know the results from that weekend because we need to take all the printer scores and combine them later.
Dude, I don't sleep that weekend. I just try to forget that you guys have our printers, and I'm just at home praying.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're sending a couple.
What's that?
Let's just switch to SkyCam.
Oh, we don't have the.
What?
People want to see it now that it's done.
Where is the screen? We need to put the screen in front of that camera.
Let's see. Actually, now I'm wondering if that one is still up. What is that poor tortured thing doing?
I don't know, but I'm going to switch it off. I'm switching this off. I have to. It's almost like there's audio.
Almost.
All right, I'm turning this off. You okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna go back to the one that we had built at the start of the show because I think, well, one of two things have happened. Either I shut this down at one point, or we found the limits of the battery life.
All right. Well, what would have been awesome symmetry is to have
The two
the SkyCam
dueling
at the
SkyCams?
end, like fading away. But maybe we can fade away. I don't think it's going to happen because I turned this one off.
Oh, you switched that one off?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was making a weird sound. It was talking to me, and it said, "Turn me off."
I think we might have done some irreparable harm to that one.
Don't talk about it.
But if you want to see this thing running, go back to the start of this show because, like, if Reddit has taught us anything, start with the finished product first, and that's exactly what we did. That's the one that we have hanging right above our set right here. I think we finally killed the battery, so I'm going to say the battery life on that is maybe 5-6 hours, something like that. Again, thank you very much for watching. Thanks to Digi-Key for sponsoring us. Make volume 58 just shipped, so that'll be on newsstands soon, to be sure to check that out. And if you're in the Kansas City area, go to Kansas City Maker Fair this weekend. Check it out. It's an awesome show. Check out the Power Racing Series and all the other cool stuff that happens there at Union Station. But for us, right now, thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next time on Make Live.
Thanks, man. I love Kansas City.
Hello? Pat?
Yes.
Can I get a,
He'll take a Raspberry Pi 3.
No pie for you.
Told you.
Hey, but I did hear there's a new deli. I can go pick up the sandwiches.
Don't be held hostage by the board order. Go to Digi-Key.com to find thousands of boards in stock, all ready for immediate shipment.